What are the things about sex that Christian wives don't normally say but would really help newly married women? Now, I've got to tell you, I just appreciate it when Christian couples are discreet, when they're respectful, when they're honoring their marriage and the very private things. But if there was a realm to share some truths about sex, it would help other couples so much. So that's what we're going to do today. Hi, everybody. I am Mary Whitman Ortiz of Limitless Intimacy, bringing you the best tips and tools to create great intimacy in your marriage. And on this channel, we talk about communication strategies and intimacy made simple steps, all from a Christian point of view. So if you're new here, we invite you to subscribe. And I'm going to ask you to stay until the end because I am going to answer what issue is the biggest game changer in regards to your Christian married sex life. Are you ready? Here we go. Back to today's question. What things can Christian wives share about sex that would help newly married couples and basically every marriage? So there are 4 topics. Hold on, we're going to unpack them. The first one is, why is there a lower sex drive after you're married compared to feeling like a cougar while you're dating? And seriously, I have so many couples that come in as a client and they're like, everything changed after we got married. What is going on? So let's compare the two. When you're dating, it's all spontaneous. The hormones are just supercharged, and you can't get enough of being together. You can't get enough of expressing how you feel. And usually, if you are a Christian who is trying to respect that boundary of not having intercourse before you got married, then staying away from some of those, ooh, we're on the edge moments is really dominating your thoughts. Fast forward, ooh, into marriage, the dynamics are completely different. For starters, you're with each other all the time, not just the fun date time. So you've got responsibilities kicking in. And hey, maybe one spouse was just asked, hey, did you take the trash out? Or the other spouse was like, oh, did you get the kids to bed? I mean, these things nag at us. They derail us. It can really interfere with the flow and the fun zone. And, especially for women, because women are so detail oriented that everything connects to everything else. And being able to separate from the trash and putting the kids to bed is going to be difficult. Okay, number 2, how do you handle that men and women have different needs for sex, different reasons for sex? And the short version is that men need sex to feel closeness and women need closeness to be ready for sex. And yes, that's true. But there's more to it than that. And it's not a cruel design of God. God does invite us to lean into one another, to be vulnerable, to share what our needs are, and to get entitlement just kicked out, selfishness just kicked out as early as we can in our marriage so we can be servants. And it's always mutual. We're always thinking about one another. Both spouses need their needs met without holding out, without justifying, without resentment. Now, listen, I hope that this is encouraging you so far. And if it is, will you give us a thumbs up? Also, I have a question for you to answer in the comments. Who brings up the topic of sex the most? Okay, third topic. Why is feeling sexy not an automatic response? And I'm talking specifically to wives here. It's another paradigm for men. even their idea of what sexy is different. So for women, your personal expression of sexuality is not necessarily going to match what the media portrays. And if that is what you have been seeped in, then, it may be some pushback like, I'm not doing that. What's wrong with me? Also, your expression of sexuality is not what porn has been showing if you have been a consumer or a viewer. So you've got some opposing views in your mind right now. Maybe when you got married, sex was brand new. If you did save yourself for marriage to have that be your time of the most intimate with intercourse, then you're just growing in your vulnerability, and finding out what you are like as a sexual being is new. So don't make yourself feel like you have to measure up to be like your husband. You don't want to be have a false persona. And it's okay to be playful, to be goofy. You're the same person out of the bedroom as you are in the bedroom. And so if you're just all of a sudden acting completely different, that might be even more uncomfortable. And I have to ask you, would you like more freedom in your sexual and emotional intimacy in marriage? Well, I want to invite you to check out the Dream Team Marriage Intensive. I've got the link below. And here we unpack God's original design for sex. We provide ideas for lots of fun ways to be together, and you get a blueprint, proven steps, how you can sustain that closeness to a place that you are both feeling seen and known and heard and loved. And the next intensive opens up on April 15th. 2024. All right, what about topic number 4? Why does your sex drive, your sexual interest, your ease of sex, the variety that you have in sex, and your expectations, why do they change all throughout your marriage? There's not a one and done, okay, this is what sex is like for us from now until eternity. Well, you are changing. You are growing as an individual and as a couple. So it's a given that you will change. Now, each season of change means that you will need to bounce ideas off of your spouse of what your interests are and what your expectations are. Certainly, giving each other some slack, some support when there's babies coming along. Hey, when there's been an illness or surgery, when aging is happening, all occasions for adapting to one another. And you just have to know it's normal to have changes. Nothing wrong with you if you are feeling the need for some changes in your sex life. You just have to remember the truest and the bestest goal of marriage is not the ultimate sex life. Actually, it is connection at the deepest level, which is spirit, soul, and body. And that is where you can have an overflow into incredible sexual intimacy. So that place of emotional value on one another, your commitment to us, more mutual love and more serving and more respect, that's when intimacy is going to be at its absolute best. And you are going to be so thrilled that you did the work to get there. But now I have the topic that is the biggest game changer for your sex life, and it is learning to bring each spouse to orgasm. I got your attention, right? Well, men don't typically struggle to come to orgasm. I mean, there are seasons in their life, there's stress, there's different things that can impact that. But women, woo, another creature altogether. Women need different attention, extra attention, changing attention to come to orgasm. And actually, Next week's video is all about what wives need to orgasm. And there's just so many great tips there. I couldn't pack them all into one video. So please look for that one next week. And thanks so much for joining today. Remember that God's design for sexual wholeness in marriage is fulfilling and thrilling intimacy.